It's Dr. Love!
Yeah. Hello, it's Ed Johnson, aka Dr. Love. That's Dr. The Real Deal Love. You get nothing but the real deal here. I'm excited to be with you tonight. Tonight is Valentine's Day night. And Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl of love. It's the Super Bowl of love. It's the time when men and women get together and we begin to share just what you mean to me, just the experiences that we've shared together, remembering the moments, the notes, the kind gestures, the phone calls, the late at night times. I remember when I was dating my wife, and we would stand on the front porch and talk for, I would say, maybe 10 minutes. And then when I looked at the clock, it was really 3 hours. Say, boy, it seems like we were just here for a couple minutes, but when you're in love, time just flies. Am I right? Can you relate to that? But then after a while, you know, time starts standing still if you don't keep the relationship great. So tonight we're going to begin to talk with you. We have a treat for you tonight. We're going to look in retrospection because Dr. Love has begun this thing years ago. I've been at this for a while. It seems like it's only been a couple of years, but when I think back, we're coming up on probably 8 years when I began, and it's a great story. You know, my background is cosmetology. I did hair for 30 years, and I talked with women all day, every day. And you know what we talked about, right? We talked about what he did, what he didn't do, what he should have did, what he could have done, and what he didn't do. And that was the problem, okay? So I got a full air of just what women's challenges were, some of the things that they were dealing with. So I said, okay, I would just talk to my clients. And then I had children. 2 boys and 3 girls. Well, my daughters didn't think that Dad knew what he was talking about. So I would tell them different things, and then they would say, well, you're my father. You're supposed to say that. But I was telling them the truth. So to make a long story short, as they started getting older, I said, listen, I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to give you my ideals and get some of your girlfriends together, and I'm going to share, and y'all tell me if you think I should go further. Well, I talked, I shared, we ate, we laughed, and they said, yes, you should go further. So here I am. Years later, I wrote a book titled 3 Things Every Woman Needs to Know About a Man. This is my TV show, Ask Dr. Love. If you've got questions, I've got answers, and you can ask Dr. Love. So tonight, we have 2 young ladies who were in the first, I mean, when I was in the first, somebody say the first, you know what I'm saying? In the beginning, in the very beginning, when I was just getting started. We have 2 ladies that we're going to bring up, and they were in the first group, and we would talk, I would share over breakfast, and these ladies were there. And not only were they there, they weren't even thinking about getting married. And now today we're going to hear from them. And on this Valentine's Day, they're married, and you're going to hear from them today. Are you ready to hear from them today? Yes, I'm glad you said that. So just to let you know that we're going to bring them up, we're going to be talking with them. And we just want to let you know, as I said, Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl of love. There are a lot of women that are in the Super Bowl and playing well. Because the game of love is just that. It's the game of love. Now, when I say the game of love, I'm not making light of it, but it is a game of love. And it depends on how well you play. Some play better than others. I think it was Les Brown that said it like this here. He said, when I win, it's because of what I know. And when I lose, it's because of what I don't know. And tonight we wanted to begin to empower you because I know those of you who are not in the Super Bowl, those of you who are not winning, you want to win. And if game day is important for you, if you want to win the Super Bowl, if you want to be in the Super Bowl, then you're going to have to up your game. And Dr. Love is here to up your game. And in order to up your game, you've got to show up to practice. Say practice. Practice. You've got to show up to practice, okay? If you want to win the game, you've got to show up to practice. Dr. Love has practices. I mean, I call practices, I have practices on Saturday, sometimes I have Sunday. We have practices, we have drills where you actually get in the game, you get on the court and you practice. And if you want to up your game, you're going to have to show up to practice. And I guarantee you, if you show up to practice, you're going to up your game. And the next time the Super Bowl comes around, you're going to be on the field, ready to score. Touchdown! I'm excited. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to take a moment. We're going to bring up our guests, and then we'll be right back in a moment. Hello, hello, hello. We are back, and we are live. Boy, I'm telling you, it's great tonight to have two young ladies, two young, attractive ladies, two young, attractive, educated ladies to have tonight, just to share with you just a little bit of their story, a little bit just documenting where we've been, where they come from, and where they are. And as you know, to my right, we have Miss Jennifer Briggs. Round of applause. Woo, 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 woo. And to my other right, no, this is my, to my left, we have the one and only Miss Julia Bacon. Okay, so these are two of the original. We were here many years ago. This took place, this all began Saturday morning breakfast, right? At Brandon's house. Is Brandon here? Where's Brandon? Brandon's here, yeah. Brandon's here, Brandon's, okay. She's here, Brandon's here, okay. Saturday mornings, Dr. Love, we would just get together. Dr. Love would come and I'd bring the eggs, the bacon, the grits, the biscuits, you know what I'm saying? And Dr. Love would just be throwing down in the kitchen. I'm not sure if they came to talk with me or if they came for breakfast. Which one was it?
The grits is what brought the grits first.
Just in case you didn't know, Dr. Love makes a mean pot of grits, all right? Dr. Love makes a mean pot of grits. Okay, so for her, it was the grits. Okay, for you, she was a combination? It was a combination, all right? The grits help, you know what I'm saying? Hello, hello. I am back again, and we're live. I am so excited tonight to have two lovely young ladies, two lovely, talented young ladies, two lovely, talented, beautiful, and educated young ladies here with me today. To my right, we have Miss Jennifer Briggs. Let's give her a round of applause. Woo! And to my other right, I mean my left, we have the one and only Miss Julia Bacon. Let's give her a round of applause, okay? So these lovely young ladies were at the very beginning, and as I was sharing, Dr. Love, we go way back. This is many years ago. We're probably going back probably 6, 7 years where we began just on Saturdays. Dr. Love said, listen, ladies, just come. I'm going to share, I'm going to cook, and we're going to talk. And all this took place at Brandon's house. Is Brandon here? Yeah, Brandon's here. Hey, Brandon's here. So all this took place at Brandon's house Saturday morning, and we would do it once a month, right? We would do it once a month. And these young ladies, they were in college at the time, right? They were in college because, and they're going to have to talk into their mics. You ready?
I was in college.
You were in college.
I think I was just out.
You were just out. Okay, you were just out. But you weren't finished your master's program.
Right, I was working on my master's.
You was working on your master's program. Okay, and you were still in
I was an undergrad.
undergrad. Gotcha. See that's education undergrad. What does that mean? I mean that's under the graduate. Got you. Okay. Not boasting, not bragging, but both of these girls are masters, right? I'm sitting between two masters, all right? Does that make me a half a master? Okay. But these young ladies, they were at the very beginning, and we were talking, and as I said, Dr. Love makes a mean pot of grits. So I don't know if they came for just the breakfast or if they came for what I was sharing. We're going to start with Miss Julia first. What was it that brought you?
The breakfast.
It was the breakfast, okay.
Brought me first.
Nothing I said, it was the breakfast, all right? For this one, it was the breakfast, all right? This one over here, Miss Jennifer.
It was a combination.
It was a combination. Good. She knows what to say, all right? It was a combination, all right? And I don't know if she's saying that because...
and the obligation.
And the obligation, right? See, the thing about it is this one here has a daughter who happens to be one of my favorite young people, Miss Gabrielle. And she was sharing with me, she said, well, what are we going to talk about? I said, you're going to be hanging out with Dr. Love. What is there to worry about? So I said, well, ask your daughter. I said, ask your daughter. I said, tell her you'll be hanging out with Dr. Love. Give you some advice. What should you do? And did she give you some advice?
She did.
What did she say?
She said, take 4 deep breaths and say to yourself, you can do it.
Now, isn't it nice to have options? Some people are dating, some people are not dating by choice, others are not dating, well, we'll leave that alone, okay? Okay, we're just keeping it real. So, in the interim, we were talking, and I was sharing with you information. To your mind, is there anything that comes to your mind, anything that you can think of that you heard in the lesson that we discussed, that in the breakfast, that just kind of like just crystallize in your mind? Something, what is there? Is there something that you can think on? She's thinking. All right. Come back to you.
I can go.
You can go.
Well, the overarching theme for me was self-worth, which is something I had not approached dating with before. And just, so that was the overarching theme, but the idea that how you treat yourself or the way you enter into what you demand or expect of someone else is what they will give. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I really, even though still I was determined never to date again, I took that into all the other areas of my life as well. So that began to transform how I carried myself and what I thought about what I deserved as far as treatment. Okay.
So I like that. The overall theme was self-worth, value. That's good. Hello, it's Dr. Love, and you're watching my program airing on PhillyCam. The title of my show is Ask Dr. Love, and you're watching 2 of my first students being interviewed, and we're talking about some of the successes and some of the challenges that they've experienced in relationships. And I think you're in for a treat because it's a great show, and I'm just going to jump on and just do some commentary just to bring out some points that I think just deserve to be mentioned and restated and just highlighted throughout the show. So as you can see, our first conversation was with Miss Julia, and she talked about something that I think is so important for women to really understand today. She said a couple of things, and here's the list. She said her self-worth, her value, how she carried herself, and demand, and what she would demand from the relationship. And I thought those were excellent points. I think those were great takeaways to really start to see and understand your self-worth. She said, I never approached relationships in the past with a true sense of self-worth, of my self-worth. And ladies, you may be able to identify with that. I always say, when it applies to my life, someone would ask me, they would say, how much do you need to buy that shirt? And for some reason, I just didn't have the confidence. I didn't feel like I would get what I would ask for. So you could ask me, how much do you need for the shirt? And the shirt costs $10, and I know that. And you would ask me how much I would need. I would say $7. I never asked for what I really wanted. What do you really want? And that's why we're bringing this interview to you, because Miss Julia, as you can see, she's talking about her self-worth, her value, and how she never really demanded what she wanted from the relationship. And as a result of our time together, as a result of our sessions, as a result of our morning breakfasts, she started to realize that, she said, listen, I've got to begin to actualize and realize my value. And those are the things that I really share, is that there's 3 things that is important for me to make sure women understand. 1, a woman has to understand her value. Because if a woman understands her value, she's going to really begin to understand how men view her. Men value women very, very highly. So to understand her value. Second, a woman must internalize her value. It's not good enough just to understand it and not really take it to the next step and internalize. A woman has to internalize her value. That's something that it's a process. She begins to look at the things that have happened in her life negatively, the things that have impacted her negatively. And then as she looks at those things that has impacted her negatively, she begins to, as someone says, turn those lemons into lemonade. The things that you've been through become stepping stones. And something that someone meant to tear you down, it really begins to build you up and elevate you. You begin to step on those things that people thought were going to hinder you. You begin to step on those things and they elevate you to a higher level. So that's the reason I'm just coming on in between each segment and just kind of like letting you know that your self-worth is everything. Your value is everything. How you carry yourself. Okay? If you carry yourself like a queen, you'll be treated like a queen. If you believe you're a queen, you will be treated like a queen. You'll be talked to like a queen. Okay? So approach your dating, approach your next relationship. If you're in a relationship, you're gonna want to make some changes. If you're going into a new relationship, it's like the song said, when I give my love this time, I want it to be for love, for life, and forever. Take the 4 deep breaths, right? Take the 4 deep breaths. You can do it. Go ahead.
I would say having a standard and having a demand. What do you want? And don't waver in that. I know at the beginning of my relationship, I was scared to do that.
Okay.
And I remember one Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I didn't get a Valentine's Day present. And I was upset, but I really didn't say anything. And we had a conversation. Mm-hmm. And you said you have to show some type of displeasure. Mm-hmm. Because you have to get a Valentine's Day gift on Valentine's Day.
That's a must.
That's a must. And the next year, even in Korea, where he was, I got a Valentine's Day gift.
All the way across the world.
There's no
Okay, next segment. I thought that was a great segment. I thought she said a lot of great things that I think women can identify with. She talked about setting standards and not wavering. That was huge. That was strong. I think that's going to add so much value to a lot of women.
setting standards, she said, are not wavering. Okay? See, and the thing she began to share that I thought was, that's really going to help women and empower women, because that's one of the things that I say, I rescue men by empowering women. I rescue men by empowering women. Okay? So rescuing men means we pull men from just their ordinary thinking to an extraordinary way of living and being. And you do that by setting standards. And she said she had standards, and then she said, don't waver, because fear started to rise up. She started to be afraid. Can I say that? Can I do that? So she began to be afraid. She began to doubt herself. So that's the reason she said, you got to set some standards and you can't waver. Okay, so she was scared. So then she goes on to tell the story. That's just a great story. I remember the conversation that I had with her, because she didn't get a Valentine's Day gift. And she was like, You know, it's like when you have the man that's there with you, he loves you, he cares for you. And Valentine's Day comes and she didn't get a gift. So she was like, you know. So I had a conversation with her. I said, yes, you have to let him know I'm not pleased. You know, I'm not pleased. What should you do? So she had a conversation and it went polite, see. And that's why Dr. Love is here, because, you know, you want to have conversations with the man of your dream. You want to have conversations with the woman. And this goes both ways. You know, if the man has to talk to the woman and have a conversation about something that he doesn't like or something that he doesn't care for, if she has to say something to the man that she would like to discuss or that she thought was offensive, you know, you can have conversations. You can have authentic, genuine conversations. You can have tough conversations. They don't have to be rude. They don't have to be loud. They don't have to be obnoxious. You can just talk. You can just communicate. And that's what she did, you know. I didn't get a Valentine's Day gift. And she had that conversation. And she said she was scared at the start. Okay. You know how it is. You know, I say that all the time. You know, sometimes I have to have a tough conversation. And, you know, you really don't, you know, you really don't want to say, you know, you really don't want to have those tough conversations, but you have to. You have to be a big girl. You have to be a big guy. You have to be a big boy. And you have to have some of those conversations. And she did. And he told her I understood. Okay. And not only did he understand, but at the next Super Bowl of love, the next Valentine's Day, she got a Valentine's Day gift. And the thing that I like about it, and you see me say all the way across the world, he was over in Korea, and he made it a point. He made it a point. He said, if that's important to her, if it's important to you, it's important to me. That's one of the foundational ingredients. That's one of the keys of a successful relationship. If it's important to you, it's important to me. I say that right now to my wife, some things that she may think is important. It's not important. It's not that important to me. But if it's important to you, if it's important to her, I'm going to make it important to me. That's a relationship. How are you relating to the people that you're in the ship with? That, you know, I break that word up, relationship. How are you relating to the people that are in the ship with you? Okay? Your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance. They're in the ship with you. We're in this together. How are we relating to each other? And that's the reason I was just encouraging her. You have to have the conversation with him. And she did. And he understood. He said to her, if it's important to you, it's important to me. And she said, there's no excuse. If you're halfway around the world and your girl is not with you, come Valentine's Day, come anniversary, come her birthday, he said, I'm going to make sure that roses come, a gift comes, something comes. I will get you. I will get the gift to you. You remember that song? Ain't no mountain high enough. No river wide enough. Okay? I thought that was a great segment. Let's listen in for the next one.
No excuse. So you were single then, the breakfasts took place, and out of the breakfast, did you make the breakfasts regularly?
Yes.
Okay, what about you? Did you make the breakfast regularly?
No, not
No.
to begin with, no.
Okay, not really. Ah.
Brent and I were going out dancing the night before, I think, usually. Whenever I was there, that's
Okay,
why. But
okay.
then I started to come regularly.
Started to come
yes.
regular. Okay, all right. So we had to wheel this one in, and the grids held,
the
right?
grids helped, right.
So dancing works up an appetite. So you had an appetite, right?
Yes, because I didn't see at that time. I didn't need to know about love because I wasn't going to do that.
You wasn't going to do the love
I wasn't
thing.
going to do that, right.
Okay, so that's good. All right. So our time is progressing, and I know we're moving on with our time. So let's move into, you see this particular gentleman, and we just want to hear a little bit about your stories, because I always ask, because women who are in tune with Dr. Love, women that are being counseled by Dr. Love, you get both sides, because not only do I coach women, I'm also a marriage counselor, okay? And I've been counseling married couples, and you know, I see the ups and downs and the do's and the don'ts. And one of the questions that I always ask in the relationship, I say, how did y'all meet? How did you meet? Okay, who wants to answer that question? How did you meet?
So my husband and I actually were both getting our master's degree at the same time.
Okay.
He thought I was a strange artist, and I thought he was living in Pittsburgh at the time. And
Okay.
I just kind of thought, nothing too much of it. And at the time, Brandon was pestering me about not dating, actually.
Okay.
And she wanted me to tell her if I could tell her about somebody that I would date, like who would what would that person be like?
Okay.
And I said to her, well, there's this guy I'm going to grad school with, someone like him, but not him.
But not him.
Not him, but someone like him. And sure enough, like about a year after we graduated grad school, I was teaching a workshop at a conference.
Okay.
And my husband was attending, and he waited outside of the workshop. He didn't come to my workshop, but he waited outside.
So he knew you were in the workshop.
Right. He said, oh, yeah, we went to school together. Let me go say hi. And
notice that men always know where you are to
Yes,
come and say hi,
right.
right? Okay, go ahead.
Oh boy, that was another great segment. Another great segment. Did you hear? I thought it was just so well carried out. How did you meet? That's always interesting to me. How did you meet? When boy meets girl, I mean, sparks fly, explosions happen. Stars just go off. It's just, when a man and woman meets, and I'm quite sure those of you who are tuning into the broadcast, you can think back on when you met your gal. I can remember when I met my wife. It's, just that coming together. So I just thought it was interesting that she said they were both at a conference, and just notice, ladies, just always notice us men. We are so predictable. She said, he said to her, they were at a conference, and he said, I'm just going to go say hi. Okay. And as you see, I pointed out, men always know where you are. A good man always knows where a good woman is. I used to go to a barber shop, and one of the barbers there, he would say, his name was Bruce. Bruce would say, he said, my wife is a good woman. He said, and I know, listen to Bruce. Bruce said, he said, when I die, he said, I know one of my friends are going to come visit my wife, And he said, I don't mind that. He said, I know he's going to come visit my wife. He said, I just don't want him wearing my pajamas and wearing my slippers. I don't want him wearing my robe, okay? So I said, Bruce, you won't know, you won't even know. But a man always knows, the point that I'm making, a man always knows where a good woman is. And as you saw, he said, I just wanted to come by and say hello. Okay? Then later on, he comes back and he says to her, he said, hey, I think we should just catch up. You know, catch up on what? You know, catch up. Ladies, I want you to really start understanding what's going on. First, he says, I want to come say hi. The next thing he says, why don't we just catch up? So then she gets together with her friends and whatnot, and they catch up. Then they're in New Orleans, and as the night unfolds, he loses all the others that were around. Everybody that was around, he begins to just lose them. Why? Because he says, I just wanted to be her and I. See, ladies, I want you to know this. When he laid eyes on her for the first time, he knew she's the one. He knew it. I'm going to say it again. When he laid eyes on her for the first time, he knew she was the one. Now listen to this. A year passed, and they're in New Orleans at a conference, and he makes it a point. She's here. I'm going to say hi, and we're going to catch up. And he lost everyone else. And at the end of the night, it was just you and me. It was just her and him. Okay? Then as it progresses on, the conference is over, and she says she started realizing that he's probably not going to call me again. We're not going to catch up again. But then he begins to see her. And he says, I'm going to be in New York. We should catch up. I'm going to be here. We should catch up. I'm going to be here. We should catch up. So now the relationship is starting to take momentum. It's starting to pop. It's starting to, you know what I mean? He's starting to launch his plan. Because see, from the first moment he saw her, he knew she was the one. He knew it. And as a result of that, as a result of him seeing her, he knew he had a plan to make her his girl. And ladies, you want to begin to understand that, internalize that. When he see you, something happens. And he decides at that point, at that point. I call it the 5-second secret. A lot of women don't know. When a man see the woman that excites him, that ignites that passion in him, when he sees that woman that ignites that passion in him, he makes his mind up about her within 5 seconds of seeing her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within 5 seconds, he makes his decision about her in 5 seconds. That's one of the great things that Steve Harvey brought out in his book, and just in his conversation. He's just open and honest. And Marjorie tells the story as well. Steve said, when I saw her, he said, I couldn't breathe. I stopped breathing. And I told her that night, he said, I don't know who you are. He said, I'm going to marry you. Within 5 seconds. Within 5 seconds of seeing her, he said, you're the one. Ladies, I hope you get that. I hope you internalize that. 5 seconds. 5 seconds could be the rest of your life with the man of your dreams. All right? That's a great segment. All right, let's listen a little further. I'll be back on.
And so he said, we should catch up. I said, oh, yeah, that sounds great. We were the conference was in New Orleans, of all places. Okay. So I invited, there was other people we knew mutually. I invited everyone else we knew to go find good jazz music together.
Okay, to catch up.
Yes, so I'm thinking we're just catching up.
Okay.
And by the end of the night, my husband made sure that he lost everybody else. So then it ended up just being the two of us going around New Orleans listening to great jazz. And I left that night thinking, I'm going to tell Brenna. I can't wait to tell her because now she'll get off my back.
Okay.
I hung out with a guy, and
who has all the qualities.
Right, right, but not him.
But not him, right? Okay.
And I'm never going to see him again because he lives across the state, and I think he's a few years younger. And I'm sure I'll never hear from him. But now she'll get off my back about it. You know? And then my now husband just started making up excuses for being on this side of the state. He'd say, oh, you know what, I'm going to be in town that weekend. We should hang out again. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what, I'm going to be in New York for this or that. We should catch up again. Oh, okay. I mean, it took me a while to figure out that he was actually
He was just always conveniently on this side. Yes. Oh, my.
And so, but what struck me after that first night in New Orleans together was that I left there saying to myself, I have never met a man that listens the way he did. So he, from that night, I like something was different. And then he just took his time. And he the other really big thing that made such an impression was that he said he would make me a mixtape. We like very different kinds of music, or opposite kind. So he said, I'm gonna make you a mixtape of my favorite stuff. And I thought, oh yeah, okay. Sure you will. And that mixtape came in the mail.
Gotcha.
On a cassette tape with a paragraph written about each song and why he liked it. And I could not believe that he actually spent the time to put it on a cassette tape and wrote out all these things just for me.
Hello again, it's Dr. Love, and we're going to entitle this segment, Just For Me. Did you hear what she said? She said, I couldn't believe he did it just for me. That is huge. That is so huge. When a man and woman comes together, and that's what this is about. This is about relationship. This is about coming together. And what she's communicating is that she says, I never met a man that listened the way he did. See, men, when they care about a woman, they listen. He said he listened. That's what she said. He listened to me. She said, I didn't experience that before. And not only that, this is good for men as well. Okay? This is good for men and women. She said, and he took his time with me. See, relationships are like a fine wine. They just get better with time. A good relationship gets better with time. See, that's what he said. She said, he didn't rush. He took his time. He began to listen to what she said. He heard what she said. He responded to what she said. See, this is good for men. This is good food for women. Just to take your time. What's the rush? When you get a good woman, you've got one of the greatest relationships in life. A good woman. When a good woman finds a good man, when a good man gets a good woman, what's the rush? Take your time. Get to know each other. Get to understand each other. Because you begin to get to that point where we talked about. And I say it all the time, and I'm realizing this. When a good man meets a good woman and they have a great understanding of each other, when a man and woman comes together, it's really heaven on earth. You know, we talk about heaven, and I've never been there. You know, I'd like to go there. Yeah, I mean, heard good things about it. But meanwhile, while I'm on earth, when a man and woman gets together and they understand each other, this is heaven on earth. And I want you to experience it. Heaven on earth. I want that woman to reach that man, the man of her dreams, that loves her, cares for her unconditionally. I want that man to begin to find that woman and get her and understand her, listen to her, cherish her, respect her, adore her. Yes, I want that for him. I want that for her. That's the reason you're watching. Ask Dr. Love. If you have questions, ask Dr. Love. I've got some answers. Okay? Let's move on to the next segment. I thought that was so great. Wasn't that cute? She said he used to just make up. He used to just make up time. I'm going to be in your area, and I'd like to be with you. I thought that was so cute. Let's go to the next segment.
But he said what he did, he did what he said he would do, and that was new. That was new for me.
New and different.
So, but it was everything that I had ever really wanted.
Okay, so here's my song. I sing a song, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. So he's getting to know her. Did you see that? All right, you got more. I want to hear more. But let's Ms. Briggs, Mrs. Briggs, forgive me. Okay, how did you meet?
Well, I was at Eastern for my undergrad, and I was dating. My husband was my first official boyfriend, but I was dating other guys. I would see them, and they would play basketball in our gym. So guys from Philly would come to Eastern University to play basketball in the gym, and I was talking to one of the guys that were playing basketball. And my husband now, he was always there, but you know, I didn't think of him any way. But when we would talk, all of the group, he would say, "I'm coming to this school. This is the school I'm coming to."
I'm coming to.
He was at Community College of Philadelphia at that time. Next semester rolls around. I stopped talking to the guy that I was talking to previously.
Okay.
And I was in class, and he walked by and he waved in my classroom. This is my husband.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I saw him after class. I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I told you I was coming here.
Okay.
I go here now."
Ooh, so he attended.
So he attended, and I would see.
Okay, I'm back. These women are telling you how love began. Here's my song. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. When I'm with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed? Have you noticed? Oh, that's one of the songs. I used to sing that to my clients because, you know, as you know, my background is cosmetology. I did hair for over 30 years. And, you know, when a woman would come into my salon to get her hair done, it took a while for me to really get to know her and understand her personality, understand her emotional makeup, to begin to understand how she saw herself. Because, you know, I'm creating for her, I'm creating a look for her, I'm creating a style for her, I'm suggesting color for her, so I'm getting to know her. And, you know, I carry that over in relationships as well. It's just getting to know you. And as you begin to hear this next segment, he's getting to know her. So I just thought it was just so cute when a man meets a woman and he meets her and he says, I'm coming to this school. Why are you coming to this school? It's just a great school to come to, or I'm coming to this school. Why are you coming? Okay, I'm coming to this school. Oh, Lord. Men, when a man see who he wants, he's coming. Make no doubt about it. Let's listen further.
Him regularly. I would see him all the time.
Okay.
And I didn't want to date. I was I felt like I was heartbroken. I really wasn't.
Oh, this was over the first one.
Over the first, yeah, I felt like I was heartbroken. I didn't want to date, but he was always around, and I never had a guy that was just my friend. So I said, he's nice. He can be my friend.
Okay,
You know,
just a friend.
I just want him to be my friend.
Okay, can I stop right here for just a minute? You say he's just a friend. Just had to get that in there. Okay, so listen to this here. We got this one coming from Pittsburgh. He's always on this side of town, right? You got that? He's always on this side of town. This one here, I'm coming to Eastern, right? He's going to get an education at Eastern now. Okay, go ahead. The things we do.
We talked often. He was very consistent, never pressuring, but very consistent, calling me to check up on me. On Tuesdays and Thursdays when he would have class, always wanted to know where I was so he could see me, so we could have lunch together. And of course, I started to develop feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And we did talk about it, and I would say, yeah, like, but I don't want to be in a relationship right now. Like, I just want to be friends. And, you know, he would say, well, I don't want you to do anything. I want to do all the work.
Oh. He said he wants to do all the work.
And I never heard that before.
Ooh, that's a power move.
Yeah,
okay.
so 12 years later, here we are.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to share this with men and with women, but I shared it with a woman one time on an interview, and I said to a woman, I said, there's no such thing as an ordinary man or ordinary man, okay? Now, since I said that, you know, I shouted from the rooftop because most men, if you ask most men would say they're ordinary, but you're not. There's nothing ordinary about a man. Men need to understand that, but I really want women to understand that. There's no such thing as an ordinary man. He may look ordinary, he may think he's ordinary, he may act ordinary, but there's no such thing as an ordinary man. Most men don't know all of what they're capable of. Most men don't know all of what they're capable of. There are a lot of women that don't understand what a man is capable of. I mean, you think about the accomplishments of men. Man has gone to the moon. Man is able to travel at the speed of sound. Man is able to go into the sea and swim with the whales and just take video cameras down there and just record the behavior of the humpback whale and just the killer whale. They swim with dolphins. I mean, just think about the ability of man. I share with women that man is the most sophisticated being on earth. There's no creature that's any match for a man. And have you noticed, all creatures, all animals adapt to their habitat, to their surroundings, to their environment. Man is the only species, he's the only being that doesn't adapt to just fit in to his environment. Ask me why. I'm glad you asked. Because man is the only being that has the ability and the sophistication and the wherewithals and the intellect to create his own environment. So it's important to understand, man is the only being that has the ability to create his own environment. So in the relationship, man has the ability to create an environment conducive to him and the woman that he's interested in. no ordinary man. Ladies, I want you to understand that. He is no ordinary man. Men, I want you to understand it as well. You are not an ordinary man. You don't even know. Most men don't even know all of what they're capable of. They're living, a lot of men are just living just a small portion of really what's in them. So in the relationship, I empower women to begin to understand a lot of men are living a small portion of what's in them. And with the right encouragement, with the right understanding, a woman can encourage a man to be his best. And the same thing for a woman. A man can encourage a woman to blossom and to live her best life. That's the reason you're going to hear Dr. Love use that term a lot in my conversation, a lot in my interviewing. When a man and woman comes together, it is heaven on earth. Now listen to this. Did you hear this angel? She said she was at Eastern and he was there. And what did he tell her? I'm coming to Eastern. When a man says what he's going to do, honey, 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 look out. He's going to do it. Okay? When a man says what he's going to do, he's going to do it. He'll move heaven and earth. See, that's the reason I want you to understand. Get that out of your head, ordinary man. Okay? Did you see that? He said to her, I'm coming to Eastern. Did he come? Just like he said he was. I'm here. She see him walking on the hallway. What you doing here? He said, I told you. Listen, I told you I was coming. I told you I was coming to Eastern, and I'm here, my dear. All right? So, begin to understand that, okay? He said he was coming. He did everything necessary to leave the school that he was at, file all the necessary paperwork to become a student at Eastern University. A man lives up to his word and does what he said he was going to do. And women, I want you to begin to start internalizing that power, that power that's there. When he's interested in you and he says what he's going to do, take your hands off, sit back, and watch the power of man. All right? So, as you saw in this particular segment, he wound up coming to Eastern, and he said, listen, I'm here, and I'm interested in you. And just notice how she was talking about him. He just took time to call. How are you? He took time to ask the question, where are you? I would like to see you. See, those are the bright dating moments. Those are bright times. Where are you? How are you? I just want to see you. I want to talk with you. I want to sit with you. Okay? Bright moments. These are the times that you'll grow old together and you'll talk about those moments when you came together, when you met. This is so exciting, isn't it? I love it. Okay, I'm about to go off. We're going to listen to the next segment.
Whoa, whoa. So he said he wants to do all the work. Did he ask for your phone number? When did he ask for your phone number?
Early, when we were just friends.
Did he ask for your number, or did you ask for his number?
He asked for mine, for sure.
Okay. Did he ask for your number, or did you ask for his number?
He asked for mine.
Why didn't you ask for his?
Because I want to be pursued.
Okay. It's clear enough, right? She said, I want to be pursued.
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't you ask for his?
I didn't even think we were there.
Okay.
and I mean, he asked first.
Okay. Would you ask for his number?
Probably not back then.
Okay.
I mean, probably not now either, but
Okay.
I wasn't that forward.
Okay. All right. All right. And then he said, let me do the work.
He said, I'll never forget that.
Okay. By all means. All right. Whew. My goodness.
All right, I'm back again. Just a couple minutes. Did you hear the interaction between the man and the woman? It was just a good interaction. She was just, I don't know if we need to be friends. I don't know. And he just put everything to rest with her. He said, just relax. Let me do the work. Let me talk with you. And as she shared that with you. She said, what did she say? She said, no pressure. He was consistent. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. He said, I just wanted to just keep track on you to make sure you're well. Ding, 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 ding. He was just interested in her. Okay. So that's what you want to begin to understand. That's the takeaway. No pressure, no energy, no negative energy. I'm gonna put in my time to talk with you, to convince you that I'm the one. I'm not gonna pressure you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you. Okay. I say that all the time to men. Men. I'm married. I've been married for years now, over 40 years, and I tell the men. I told my brothers, when you marry, I said, listen, out of all the women in the world, out of all the men in the world, okay. I mean, I can only afford one wife. I mean, that's just me, one wife. But out of all the women in the world, when you marry that woman, what you're saying is, out of all the women in the world, I'm choosing you. Ladies, you're saying the same thing. Out of all the men in the world, I am choosing you. And you haven't met them all. But that's what you're saying. Okay? So when you make that decision, know what you're saying. Okay? Let's listen to the next segment. And I'll be back.
I'm getting a sign. It's been longer than I thought, okay? Okay, so it's just great to know. So as you know, one of the things that my godmother used to say, and I always laugh when she said that, she said her mother would look at her as, she would look at her husband in the eyes. She said, I saw you looking in his eyes, and you was looking in his eyes like you just could eat him. She said, I'd give you a year with him and you wish you had. So I'll phrase the question like this. Are you ready to eat anyone?
We're coming up on almost 5 years.
5 years.
And one child who's almost 2 now. And yeah, the last couple of years have been hard with that baby. But every day we know that we're in it.
Okay.
We're in it for real.
We're in it to win it.
Right. So speaking up, that's coming back to that. That's what's important. To keep digging down for both people to make sure that we're being treated the way that you need to be treated. So it's work.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. All right.
So yes.
So
but then also there's really beautiful moments. Too,
gotcha. So. Beautiful. Okay. So you'll take a bite here and there, but no total no total consumption. All right. All right. Are we ready to eat anyone?
Well, I haven't. However.
But you thought about it.
I'm glad you're still here. I am back, and I just wanted to just comment on this particular segment, this question that I asked the ladies. Are you ready to eating? I thought that was just, I'll remember that until I go, till I transition, because that's the look that you have at each other. You're looking in his eyes, and he's looking in your eyes, and boy, oh boy. And relationships, you have ups and downs in relationships. I don't ever want anyone to think that relationship is just, it stays the same. You have those times, my grandmother used to say, there are those times when tongue and teeth fall out. You'll be eating a piece of chicken and you'll be chewing and chewing and chewing, and, after a while, oh, what happened? I bit my tongue. Have you ever bit your tongue when you were eating? And see, the thing about it is the teeth, they bite that tongue just like it's a piece of chicken or a filet mignon steak. And sometimes I have actually bit my tongue so hard till it started bleeding. And you would say, why would the teeth, these are my teeth, why would they bite my tongue so hard? See, that's the reason my grandmother would say that. She said tongue and teeth fall out. You bite that tongue, you just stop eating. All of your, I bit my tongue. So if your tongue and teeth fall out, you're going to fall out of relationships. As you know, I've been married for over 40 years. My wife and I, we've had arguments, we've fallen out, we've fallen back in love. You have the ups and the downs in relationships. But what makes a relationship work? What makes a relationship endure the test of time? What causes two people to come together, have those arguments? Okay, one guy, I heard it, he said it like this. He said, we don't have arguments, we have talkuments. Okay, we have talkuments. Okay, where we talk things out. We're talking, and sometimes it gets to be emotional because you have two different people that come from two different lifestyles, two different ways of living, two different ways of being. And there are differences. And because of the different upbringings, because he was raised this way, she was raised another way. So you have different ways of being, different ways of seeing things, different ways of living. And that's what you're bringing together. You're bringing your mother and father's upbringing and his mother and father's training into the relationship. And that's the reason you have those differences. And see, you don't want to fall out with those differences just because you don't see things his way or because he doesn't see things your way. That's growth. That's the importance of growth and development. I was sharing this a while ago. The number one relationship in the world is male and female. That's the number one relationship in the world. All relationships stem from that one. That's the number one relationship. When a man and woman comes together, that's how we get here. Okay? That's the number one relationship. Now, let me share with you the most important relationship. Okay? The number one relationship is man and woman coming together. The most important relationship is your relationship with yourself. Okay? Did you get that? The number one relationship is a man and a woman coming together. The most important relationship is the relationship with yourself. What is your relationship with you? How do you relate to you? How do you relate to your past? How do you relate to your circumstances? How do you relate to your pains, your struggles, your setbacks, your challenges? See, that's the most important thing. Have you dealt with your childhood traumas, if you've had any? So, everyone hasn't had drama in their childhood. Some children just had wonderful, peaceful childhoods, and that's wonderful. And then there are those who've had a challenge as a child. There's some children that have been in foster care. There's some children who, had abusive parents. We've come from all different backgrounds. So as we become adults, we bring our childhood experiences with us. And some of us come to relationships and we're hurting. Some of us come to relationships and we're broken. Some come to relationships and, I heard someone say it like this here. I just want to be loved. And I know that. I just want to be loved. And in the relationship, if you haven't been healed from your past, if you haven't worked through your drama, you bring your drama into the relationship. And those are the things that we need to deal with in the relationship. So what is your past been, and how do you navigate through your past in order to create a successful relationship? So that's the reason I asked the question. My godmother always said that, you looked in his eyes like you could eat him. I give you a year with him you wish you had. Why didn't I eat him? Why didn't I eat him when I had the chance? Okay? So as these angels share the ups and downs of the relationship, and not only that, at first it was just you and me. Now we have children. That's a whole nother dynamic. We have children. Now we've got to grow. We've got to grow as individuals. We've got to grow as man and wife, as husband and wife, as man and woman. We've got to grow. Now we have children. Now we have to grow as parents. See, those are just dimensions that we just keep adding on, that we just keep developing, the different dimensions of human evolution. Okay? We just continue to add dimensions as we grow, as we evolve as humans. And that's the reason it's so exciting for me, because I continue to grow. I would say this years ago, I realized the importance of continuing to reinvent myself. I'm always reinventing myself. I'm always improving myself. I change my style. I change my look. My wife looked at me the other day. She said, boy, you're so clean shaven. You cut your beard off. You must have. I said, I'm always changing my look. I'm always reinventing myself. Okay? So as you can see now, I'm Dr. Love. I got my white hat on. I got my white shirt on. I'm starting to look. I said, I'm going to look for a red shirt, and put Dr. Love in white, just to change up my look. Okay, so when you see me, you say, there's Dr. Love reinventing himself. I'm always looking to improve myself, because I know a better me makes a better you. So as you can see, these angels, they're telling you how life is changing. But the one thing, this is the one ingredient that's so important. And I say this to my couples, as I work with my couples, as I work with my single women, as I work with my men. I said, you want to begin to understand, interest is how we first begin. But now you have to begin to shift your interest into want. What do you want in the relationship? I want to succeed with you. I want our relationship to be a success. That's the second leg in. And then we have the third leg in, is commitment. And as you heard these angels, and as you hear these angels talk, they're talking about commitment. I'm committed. Yes, we had some hard times with the children, but I'm committed. Yes, we had some arguments where I didn't see what you saw. I was hurt by what you said, but we're committed. Commitment is what makes the relationship work. So there's two words I want to give you: trust and commitment. Can I trust you with my love? Can I trust you with my life? Can I trust you with our children? That's trust. And are you committed to me and my love? Are you committed to our relationship? Are you committed to our children? Okay? Boy, if we begin to mix trust in our relationship, commitment into our relationship, and integrity into our relationships, believe me, you're going to have heaven on earth. I'm so excited for you, with you, because your relationship is going somewhere. Okay? Let's listen a little further.
Definitely, there are hard times. It's not easy. I remember before, while I was planning my wedding, I was finishing grad school, and one of my colleagues, she just got married, and she was like, marriage is hard. And about 80% of the time, I'm happy to be married.
Okay.
And I went in my marriage thinking that we've been together 12 years, we've been married, well, in March it'll be 7 years, 2 kids, 5 and 2. And kids definitely add a different dynamic.
Okay, a whole nother dynamic.
Definitely add a different dynamic, but just like Julia was saying, when you have 2 people that are committed, that makes the world a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends who have been in relationships. I have friends who have been married and are now divorced.
Okay.
And sometimes they say, well, what's the key? What advice do you have? And I mean, you have to have 2 people that are committed.
Okay.
That's most important.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay, so that's great to know. So it's exciting to one, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Just to share, because as I often say, it's not every woman that wants to be married, but there are a lot of women that want to be married. And if you want to be married, that's a good thing. It's just that in order to understand marriage, you have to understand yourself. You have to understand where you've been, your background, your backstory, because all of that makes for the foundation. It sets the foundation for a relationship, because we bring our baggage, we bring our experiences, we bring our past, okay, to the table. So you want to understand, if you want to be married, you want to hang in there with Dr. Love, because I've got answers that will help you, one, attract the man that you dreamed of, influence him in marriage, and as the story goes, you will live sometime happily ever after. This is Dr. Love saying, hugs and love, get the ring with a little bling before you get into anything. This is Dr. Love signing off saying, I'll see you on the next Super Bowl. Goodbye for now.